I am talking solely based on personal experience, so that's where this advice comes from. Obviously, I'm no professional, so that's a little disclaimer there. But let's just get into it before I lose you guys, because I don't want to. I used to attract very low quality, creepy, just men in general. My exes both suck, like with all due disrespect, they both suck. Bringing in my first point is you need to have standards, and this is probably a very common one. You've probably heard it before, but I mean it, it's very important. I was once the girl who had no standards. I went into my high school relationship with no standards, and it got me abused in different ways, cheated on basically the entire relationship. Anyways, not even getting into that, but yeah, I wanted to be the cool, chill girlfriend, you know, like I wanted to come across that way. So I was like, who needs standards, blah, blah, blah. Like that was really my mindset. I didn't like myself very much, obviously. And never again, never do that. Don't be the cool, chill girl. Be the high maintenance girl. Be the high standards girl. Trust me, that's how you attract a high quality man. Wait, what? A high quality man, not high quality men. Well, could go for both. Anyways, my advice for this is if you have a journal, manifestation journal, I use the manifestation journal for this, but write down all of your standards. Make it like 4 pages. I think mine's like that long. Write down all your wants, your needs, like get very specific. Focus more on characteristics rather than physical attributes, because you could focus on physical attributes and attract someone whose personality sucks. So there's that. Also write down your deal breakers. I would not recommend exceeding 5 deal breakers, because that's when you just get a little bit, it just gets too much, you know. Nobody's perfect, but definitely do that and stick to that list. Stick to those deal breakers, to those standards. Love yourself enough and stick to that list. No matter how hot this guy is, how much you like him, stick to the list. Self-love, work on self-love, and this is probably something that's very commonly said as well, but like self-love, self-worth, self-confidence, high self-esteem, so on and so forth. I still have a long way to go. Like I'm still on this journey with a lot of people on loving myself and healing and all that. But when you learn to love yourself a little more and have confidence, you become more confident in just like who you are and what you need and what you want and all of that, and you're not going to be willing to allow a low quality man in. You're going to be like starting to like be like, no, yucky, why am I being treated like that? Goodbye, I don't care. You were hot once, you're not hot anymore, see you later. This goes so far past just romantic relationships, even though this video is specifically about romantic relationships and men and dating and stuff like that. You're gonna use that self-confidence, that self-love, and those standards and boundaries, and you're gonna start applying it to people outside of your dating world. Heal those traumas. Trust me, it is so needed, not only for your dating life, for your personal life, or whatever, for yourself. Like forget all that stuff outside of you, all those other relationships, those friendships, whatever. Carrying around your trauma is such a heavy, it's a burden. It's just like, why not free yourself from that? But going back to like how it plays into your dating life is when you have trauma, it just lowers your vibration, and it's not your fault, and it doesn't make you a bad person. As someone who's been through a lot myself, I can speak highly on this and relate to it very deeply. It does like affect your dating life. So when you're at a lower vibration, you're carrying around a lot of heaviness, you're gonna attract someone who's also low and also carrying around a lot of heaviness. Like law of attraction states, like attracts like.
You meet people on the same level of psychological wound as you.
Oh, man.
You also leave people where if you evolve out of that and they haven't been able to.
Wow.
When you heal yourself from those traumas, your vibration naturally rises, and you're gonna also attract someone who has healed themselves from their own traumas, and you're both gonna be high vibrational together. Okay, my fourth pointer. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be half and half. Some people might agree, some people might not like this. It doesn't really matter. I'm adding it in because it's something I implement and have implemented, and apologies on that. And it just worked really well and affected my dating life really, like in a really positive way. But going celibate, it's something I highly recommend. sexual energy is energy, obviously, and when you engage in intercourse, you are engaging in an energy exchange. So let's say you are sleeping with someone who is very low vibrational, toxic, narcissistic. They are sucking the life out of you, all the joy, all the goodness out of you, and giving you their negative energy, which immediately lowers your vibration. And even after you let that person go, and you go and like sleep with another person, or even if you don't yet, you're gonna attract more. You're gonna be like a leech to negative energy, because that's at the vibration you're at. So when you go celibate, you actually fast yourself from that energy and you cleanse your body. I decided 4.5 years ago to go celibate. I didn't have a specific time frame in mind. I just made a rule for myself that unless you're my boyfriend, unless we're in a committed relationship, like, you're not touching me. And it's just happened to be that long, which is fine. I feel so good. I actually went as far as not dating, not talking, not kissing, not hanging out, like nothing. I completely isolated myself from the dating world. And for most men, I had less than a handful of guys in my life, and most of the guys I have in my life are my family members. And I think I had like one guy friend. Like, I completely ditched the whole men thing and the dating world. It helped so much that when I entered back into the dating world a little bit, like, now I've cuddled with guys, I've hung out with guys. Obviously, if I've cuddled with a guy, duh. I've talked to guys, I've even had little crushes on guys. You get the point. The dynamic has changed a lot, and how men treat me and the guys that I attract. I haven't, knock on wood, I haven't attracted any like narcissistic, kind of super low vibrational men. Don't get me wrong, I get the occasional like douchebag that tries, and I'm like, no. But because of that rule that I have, that I won't sleep with a man that's not my boyfriend, I always find a way in the beginning of talking to a guy to slip that information in. I've had a lot of pushback from men about it. They are very respectful of it, or even if like that is their intention, they kind of fizzle away. I never really even attract guys in the first place that are trying to sleep with me, because let me tell you something, when you make your own rules for yourself, whatever they might be, like my rule, obviously, I'm not sleeping with you unless you're my boyfriend and we're in a committed relationship. That will exert in your energy. You actually don't even have to say anything, but because you have like made that, like decided that and made that a rule, it's going to, you're gonna push that energy out, and people are gonna feel that. I just find that because I made that a rule and that I'm celibate, unfortunately, with the society that we live in, I do get a lot more respect from men, and it shouldn't be like that. Like, you should be able to do kind of like whatever you want, whatever. Like, I'm not a judgmental person, but like, I'm just speaking on experience and all that. Next pointer is get to know yourself, date yourself, learn your interests, what you like, what you don't like. Like, when you spend time in silence and by yourself, you get to, like, you figure out a lot. If you can afford it, this world we're living in right now is expensive, like all that, so I completely understand if you can't. Live by yourself, even if it's for a little bit. A woman who knows herself normally has interests and hobbies and all that. Like, you just know, like, you'll know your standards from getting to know yourself. My last pointer is not all attention is good attention, and you need to learn to validate yourself. And I think that when you have low self-confidence and low self-worth, you think bad attention is good attention. Like, for example, last year, I think it was, maybe 2 years ago, I was walking down the street with an old friend, and some guys hollered at us out the window, and I was like, ew, like, I don't like it. Like, I just had a feeling in my heart, basically. I was like, no, like, I didn't like that. And she's like, oh, but it kind of makes me feel good. Like, no, what are you on? That's not a compliment. Like, learn to be insulted when a guy's lusting after you, when a guy's hollering at you and treating you like that. Like, you deserve like that traditional classy treatment, like that princess queen treatment. You don't deserve a holler. Like, that's not a freaking compliment at all. And so if you're finding it a compliment, and that's not a bad thing, work on your self-worth and your self-esteem. And I've been there before, where I used to love comments about my body and all this and all the superficial stuff, and I don't like it. It actually bothers me now, because it's like, I want you to see me for my heart, my mind, my interests, like who I am as a person. Like what I look like is like 1% of who I am. Like it's 1% of who you are, what you look like. The last thing you want is a guy lusting over you. Anyways, that is what I have to say for this video. I have a lot to speak on the topic of just dating and men, but I really did want to make this. And yeah, I really hope it helped at least one person, and I'll see you in the next video.